everyone. Good morning. So welcome back. This is episode 13 of Yarn Talks with Lizzy Knits. My name's Erin Gates. I am the owner of Three Birds Yarn Studio and the designer behind Lizzy Knits. And yeah, I think it's been about 2 weeks since I've kind of touched in and talked to you guys. So I thought it was about time, and I've had some new stuff going on. So I got a few things to share today. I had a new pattern that went live yesterday. And yeah, I think it kind of just, I've been doing a lot of behind the scenes work over here too. I kind of alternate. My main focus now is shifting from designing patterns to running the yarn store. So that's kind of where, and in the past year, it's sometimes a little challenging because I'm so used to having the design business be my main focus, but now I'm trying to shift my time. And I still want to design here and there, but really I'm just kind of doing website stuff and working on, getting more yarns in stock and kind of promoting and marketing and, website SEO and all that Google Analytics and, I do love staying active on YouTube. So, I got kind of a I don't know, a mixture of tasks. So, but I've been staying busy, and also we just came off of spring break. Kids are off for a week, and it was really nice. And then this past weekend we had a 4-day weekend, so kind of like spring break number 2. But it was Easter, so it was really nice. And luckily the weather is it's really warming up here. I actually had to turn the shades a little bit because there was a super glare. But yeah, it's so I live in Northern Illinois, if you guys don't know. So we get really excited when springtime comes because winter is just so yucky. And winter just kind of morphs into freezing rain. And then it's well, it's not quite spring, but it's still winter spring. So when it really hits, we're pretty excited. But it's fun because the grass is turning green and all the birds are back and flowers are growing, and I'm happy. And I actually played tennis with the kids yesterday, which was super. I've been planning and waiting to play, and it was finally nice enough. And just want to get the kids outside, and I want to get outside. So hopefully lots more of that, or we'll do stuff after school today. Yeah. All right. So yeah. Hope you're having a good time where you are. I want to show you a few things I'm working on. First thing is I published a new pattern yesterday. It's called the Quartz Beanie. If you've been following my Instagram, you see I've been doing all sorts of picture posts, and I'll try to do a reel today, or just kind of, I don't know, reels. I'm so awkward in reels because unless if you're familiar with Instagram, unless I'm doing a flat lay tutorial, oh, here's what I'm doing, here's how to do cast on, here's how whatever it is. I think the reels are kind of awkward. Here's the video, here's my hat. It's so weird sometimes because I don't know what to do. But I know I feel pressured to make reels from Instagram because those get showcased more or something. But I was I don't want to take a video every time. Here's the hat. Here's my hat. Here's the pom-pom. Watch, I'm gonna make this exact same reel later today. It's just, I don't know, it's different. I kind of miss Instagram where it's just pictures. There's a pretty picture. I'll talk about it a little bit and then it's done. Not I gotta pick the song. I gotta pick a trending song. Well, the songs I like aren't trending. And the songs that are trending, I'm older than the target audience. I don't know these songs. So, yeah, I'm just gonna keep doing my thing. Hopefully something takes off. Anyways, all right, let's talk the Quartz Beanie. I just gave you a little preview, but that's a variation. It's super bulky yarn. I used Rasta. I have 3 samples here. You can also use, so this is Rasta, Crazy Sexy Wool from We Are Knitters, or the wool from, no, I had that wrong. Crazy Sexy Wool, Wool in the Gang, the wool from We Are Knitters, and Baah Yarn Mammoth. So I list 4 yarns that are a good substitute in the pattern. So basically, I made it a scrappy hat. That was my original intention in this hat. I was in my office. I have a bin of little balls of yarn that are like this big. Can anyone relate? Because basically, like, you make a solid color, super bulky beanie, you're bound to have a little leftover, you know, and someone that looks kind of like this, you know? And I don't know about you guys, but like, this yarn's so nice. Like, I don't want to just, like, this is significant. Like, my hat's done, I'm not gonna throw this in the trash. So like, yes, I'm a yarn hoarder, but also as like you're spending the money on it, it's nice to use it for something else, you know? So that was my intention with this design. So here we go. The Quartz Beanie. I used 7 colors, and luckily I had all leftovers in all pastels. And actually, I think this is a Malabrigo Rustic collection, and I forget the name of it, but it was like a pastel collection of yarn colorways that they put out a few years ago. So yarn, actually, I think I had to like actually open a skein for the purple, because like once my mind was set on it, I'm like, I have 6 colors, but I need 7. So I think I did open a brand new skein for the sake of making the sample, but that's okay, because it was the purple, because I only used a little bit then. I had basically a full skein to make a full purple version. So here's the design, okay? The pattern comes with instructions for, and I kind of worded it as, you can use up to 7 colors. You can use 1 to 7 colors. It doesn't matter. It looks really nice. It's a solid, like I like it. It's bouncy. It has these pearl columns. So I like to do a single column of a purl stitch in between each cable combination. Although I'm gonna tell you in a minute, this is not cables, it's kind of like, it's twisted stitches. So it looks like a cable cross, but it's not. So it's kind of fun. So if you're not a cable knitter, like, don't be scared. It is a left twist though. That's the main component in this pattern. And I do have a link to my left twist tutorial in the pattern. So like, it's right there if you want to see how I do a left twist. And I have written instructions in the pattern too. All right, I think the camera's here. My phone's like oriented sideways. I never know where to focus. Okay, so that's that in a solid. So then here's the scrubby. And what I really liked is that when you, this is what I was playing around with, when you switch colors, it's almost like the previous color overlaps a little bit. That's what I wanted. And it took me a few tries, because I kind of had to improvise on how I do this. It wasn't a straight, like, it wasn't easy, like I can just put a cable twist in it, because then you can still see then the next color through, or it doesn't, but this one, I had to do slipped stitches, so then it actually gets carried up. So when let's take this peach color, for example, when I'm starting the first row of the peach, these 2 purple stitches were slipped. So when you knit, it's like you're grabbing those stitches and they get kind of raised up a little bit. They're slipped. So we slip, okay, basically it's a 4-stitch combo. The 2 outer ones and then 2 in the middle. The 2 outer ones are slipped. The middle 2 are knit. And then when you change colors, you do a twisted stitch. The twisted stitch brings them then together, and it kind of like overlaps into the foreground, if that makes sense, because they've been slipped. And you hold your yarn in the back, and then they kind of like hang out in the front. And honestly, I love using slipped stitches when I can, because it really, really brings like good, like dimension to the project. And it can be really simple. Like I just like a slip stitch column. I've done that on like my scarves before. It gives a little definition in between other design elements, and it's just preference, but like I like to use slip stitches. They're super fun. They're super easy. It's not like an advanced technique, and it kind of is really like, it gives a cool texture, especially like if you're a beginner and you don't want to tackle like cable knitting or something. So, but I do, like I said, it's the twisted stitch though is still crucial. So those here, so these two, I'm looking at this blue here. When you see how they meet in the middle, that's the twisted stitch. Okay, so just keep that in mind, but there is a full video walkthrough. But yeah, I think this was a lot of fun. Oh, showing my palm here. Practicing for the reel I'm gonna make. Here, and then I could like cut and like change colors like real quick. God, reels take me forever to make because I don't know what to do. All right. I thought it was fun. So 7 colors, and I did do a twisted, I did twisted ribbing for the brim just so it's a little more snug, and actually it kind of matched the texture on the pattern too. I originally did one where I did not twist the stitches at the bottom, and the base, it wasn't tight enough to match like the tension here in the body. So when I just did straight knit stitches, the end just kind of like flared out a little bit. So like I just didn't think it looked as good because I was trying to match tension, because when these are twisted and pulled, it kind of is a little tight. So I wanted a brim that kind of mirrors that, what am I looking for? Consistency, tension, you know, all that. All right, so that's it. And then yeah, it's great because each color, I'm showing you these little mini skeins. I think they each, I'd have to look at the pattern for the exact, but I think each color, aside from the brim and then the crown color, which is like a little bit more, but these use less than 10 yards each. So that is simple, easy peasy, and you have lots of rasta laying around. If you make rasta or super bulky hats, I guarantee you have a few of these somewhere in your house. So that's that. I did, yeah, in the pattern there's notes. It's like you can use one color, you can use 7, like what I just showed you, or you can use somewhere in between. Let me show you an example. I was kind of just winging it, like, and then I used 3 colors here, and then I doubled up. Is it? I used this again. Is that the same color? Oh, this is pink, and that's peach. Oh, they're close, but because I was just using what I have. So I did like 3 brim, 3 repeats of peach. I did just 1 repeat of the blue, 3 more repeats of lavender, and then I did the crown in a different color. So really, it's so versatile, and it's great if like you have a skein like this is more like I could get 2 to 3 repeats out of like a ball yarn this size, but like for this one, probably just 1 repeat, you know, and you work the pattern. There's the brim, 6 repeats, then the crown, which the crown kind of, I do mirror as you're decreasing, but stay within pattern, and it still has that little twist at the top, but it just kind of like shrinks, and I'm glad that worked out. Sometimes, I'm telling you, I actually like, when I'm cable knitting or doing texture, I like figuring out crowns. I don't know why, because sometimes they're very frustrating. Or like sometimes I'll get it right away. Like because everything's shrinking, you're losing stitches as you decrease, but like you still want it to look like the pattern is continuing. Basically, you gotta improvise and come up with a new way to make the pattern set from down here, just like miniaturize it though, so it still looks like in pattern. It can be hard. I've like totally scrapped projects before because like, it's not working, I'm not doing this, and I throw it in the garbage. But sometimes I was kind of excited about this one because this was one that went smoothly. See, it still carries these columns, it gets smaller. Actually, you can see better on the solid. It still has little twists as it just shrinks up to the top of the crown. Oh yeah. I like this one. It's a lot of fun. And I know you might not be in super bulky beanie knitting mode right now, mid-April, but if you're like a market prep for the fall, this is a good one. I might make a few more. I've just been like hoarding finished hats over here because I do make a lot of hats for like, I put them on Instagram or I talk about them in the show, or, you know, but then in the end, it's great because I'm trying to sell patterns. But then I have like 200 of these at my house that look super bulky hats out of like luxury yarn. So I might put them online. I don't know what I'm doing with them. All Christmas gifts next year. Everyone's getting a hat. Could just do that. But it's so fun. It's so fun. And if you're into the super bulky knits, like they're so satisfying. Like you could put on a movie at night and like make a hat in one movie. Like it's so fun. And the stitches are chunky and it's very satisfying knit and all good things. But, excuse me, I think this time of year, and I'm trying to like shift my focus because I think I'm gonna hold off on designing hats for a while because summer's coming, and also like summer is different. Like it's not the busy season. I'm gonna slow things down, and like I already have like summer goals of stuff more like behind the scenes things that I want to work on, or for the shop, or just remapping some of the stuff on the website, or like I might try to take like new pictures of products, and all very, very exciting things. So excited. But it's good to take turns on bouncing around basically on what my current project is. So that's probably gonna be my last super bulky until the fall. We'll see. I have no plans for more super bulky patterns right now. I was toying around with doing a shawl in the summer. The past couple of summers I've written a shawl pattern, which like has been super enjoyable. I did a sock weight shawl last year, if you remember, the shawl in reverse, where it like blends 5 colors like of sock weight yarn, and you start at the long end and cast on a lot, and it tapers as you go. So that was a really fun one. And like it's a lightweight summer knit, like I can take it on the go, or I mostly knit that shawl at my daughter's softball practices. Like it was perfect. Like I'm just sitting, like it's an hour and a half. Like I get a lot of sock weight knitting done, and it's not carrying heavy wool when it's like 85 degrees out. So we'll see. But I was kind of toying maybe a shawl next. But then it's like summer, like no rush deadlines, just like have fun with it. It's my summer project. So we'll see. Toying around with some ideas. All right. So that's that on the, okay, let's wrap that. The Quartz Beanie is done. And actually I have one extra skein that I was trying to, that I was using when I was playing around with like stitches and prototypes and stuff, but like there's enough in here to make one. So I think I'm gonna put this aside or in the upcoming weeks, and just because I have it and I already unrolled it, I might cast on an ivory one in a solid. Just, you know what? It would give me some Instagram content. Here, actually, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. You'll see me soon on Instagram making an ivory colored quartz beanie. Why not? But yeah, I don't know, the Instagram content thing, it's hard. Sometimes like I have a bunch of projects going on, and it's like cool, like I might as well turn the camera on because here's a cool stitch that I'm doing that's fun to watch, or like I do like showing demonstrations of stuff. But then there's like, especially this past couple of weeks, because like the kids have been off so much, you're like I don't have anything I want to post about. Like I'm not really working on much, like, so it comes and goes. This is how it goes. All right, Quartz Beanie done. Next, okay, drink some coffee for a minute. It's like cold. Okay, next, and I have two more things to show you. Nothing crazy today. I was looking at the schedule of my last podcast, just like what did I talk about last time? Like, oh man, I packed a lot of stuff in that episode. I was feeling ambitious that morning. All right, I want to touch in. Okay, actually, here's something I've been working on. Literally, not rushed. It's no pattern, and I'm enjoying it, which I guess is important. Make something fun. I don't have to write it up. I don't have to do anything. I showed you this last time. It's the little square blankets. There's squares that I'm patchworking into a blanket using all my leftover sock yarn. Clearly, I'm in this kick to use up leftover yarn. I'm spring cleaning in the spring cleaning in the yarn room. Actually, I love it. I love it because it's like piling up. Okay. Do you remember, if you watched, I've been making all these little squares. Okay, these are from past sock projects that I've had. Like it's kind of fun because I could look through and be like, oh, here was, this one was from Finley's sweater that I made her like 2 years ago. I remember this was a pair of socks I made. This is like hedgehog fibers I used in my Find Your Fade shawl that I made a long time ago. Like it's just fun because I got some Baah yarn in here. Christmas socks, remember those? So yeah, I've been making these little squares and I'm going to patchwork them into a giant blanket. We'll see how giant. This is going to take me a really long time. So what I was doing is I cast on like 20 stitches. I probably went over this last time. 20 stitches, and then I knit until, which 20 stitches wide gives me 3.5 inches. So I knit until I also get 3.5 inches going up. I'm using US 2 needles. So like just normal, these are not super tight. They're just like medium, I don't know. Not too loose, not too tight. And just these little garter stitch squares. If you don't know, garter stitch is you knit every stitch, nothing else fancy. You knit to the end, you flip it, you knit the reverse side too. Flip it, you knit the right side, you knit the wrong side. And when you knit on every side, it looks like that. I thought about doing stockinette, but I'm like, you know what, this doesn't take me so long. I don't want a purl, to be honest. Okay, and I talked last time about how to join these. So I got some white natural sock weight yarn. Like, all right, I'm gonna seam them all together. I had no idea how I was actually gonna do that, to be honest. So originally I was gonna crochet them together. So I bought a tiny little, I guess it matches, it's a 2.75 millimeter, same as the knitting needles I'm using. So it's a C hook. And for me, I don't crochet a ton, so like I forget all the sizing, but I had to look it up. But yeah, it's tiny little crochet hook. Yep, it's small. I've never owned a crochet hook this small. So I was thinking of, then I would take these, like piece 2 together and crochet, you know, a column, and then we'd have it all patchworked with like a little seam in the white. I really didn't like how it looked. To be honest, I didn't. And it was kind of like bubbly and there were holes and like I just didn't like how it was coming together with the crocheting. So to make things more challenging for myself, I decided I'm going to crochet borders on them. And I like this way better, but I did tack on more work to this project. Let me see if I can. So I did two rows. Crocheted a little white border, and actually I crocheted this one last night, and then I'm gonna block those. I'm gonna block these. Now I was blocking them before I put a border on them because I didn't know I was gonna put a border on them. Now I'm going to knit the square, do the border, and then block them. And I was blocking to 3.5 inches, but now that like I have a little bit more, I'm doing 3 3/4 inches. So I will block them on my handy dandy blocking mat that has a grid. I love this mat. You know, usually I use like the ABC boards from when my kids are little, like when I'm blocking shawls and stuff, but this one is so cool that it's by the crochet dude. But they're cool. The grid lines are an inch, so it's like I know I'm doing roughly 3 3/4, so I can kind of eyeball it where to put my pins. And then when I block them, I stick the pin right in the corner so we'll get crisp edges. See, like it's like curling right now. Blocking will fix that. Okay, so I have these two that are ready to be blocked. And then since they have a nice little crocheted border on them, I'm taking a needle and the yarn and doing a whip stitch or just running loop stitch. Sorry, I don't know my needlepoint terminology. The regular stitching, just stitching regular. sure that's not the term. And then I'm doing 4 at a time. So it'll look like this. This is all I've done. No, just the 4. So I was thinking, I'm like, why don't I do groups of 4? And then, you know, kind of make a stack of 4s. And then I'll start, you know, then I can start stitching the 4s together. So I think it'll like break up the project a little bit, and I can just do this a little bit at a time. Like, I love this project. Like, you know, I generally do most of my knitting at night for like an hour when we watch TV or chill out. My husband out watch something, and like I'll sit and just make like one square. Like, cool, I'll put it, I have this like tote bag that I've got all my stuff in, and then it's kind of a mess actually. But then like every time I finish a square and knitting it, I just put it in a Ziploc, and then okay, these are ready to be blocked. Oh no, new plan. These are ready to get a border. So I think my next I'm gonna pause on like knitting the squares. I'm like, let's put some borders on some of these. But it's been a ton of fun. And then I also like I have such a variety of colors. So now I'm picking 4 at a time that I'm gonna put borders on and then block. So it looks like I got like Irish colors here. Here, make like an Irish flag kind of deal. But it's fun then picking 4 colors that I think would look good like in the next to each other. Like, it's fun. I think it's a lot of fun. It's fun. This might be my summer project. This might also be my next winter project too, and next summer. No. Actually, now that like I got 4 done, it's a decent size. Like, it's kind of nice. I'm just gonna do little groups at a time in between projects, and this is just gonna be something that I kind of work on for fun. And I do I do have a lot of sports coming up again with the kids. It's like, we're just sitting there hour and a half, I feel like I could just like work on the squares because it's a easy project. Also, I'm not following a pattern. This is gonna be like this is my sports knitting project. Why not? I was knitting a bunch of these at basketball this past winter. Like, well, maybe softball and soccer are gonna be, it's time for the borders. So I'll be like crocheting on the sidelines. It's fun. I love just like, I don't know, I like knitting while we're watching practice and stuff. It's cool. So yeah, we got lots of softball coming up. So I'm really excited though. And Finley is like, her first season was last summer, and she played, we're on a different league this time, but she'll be with girls from school, because it's kind of awkward. Like, we live in a town, we're in our school's in a different town because we're like on the border. So if we do park district stuff, we are not with like kids from our school district. So like this time I did put her in the girls league or the softball league, like in the school district. Like, so she already knows like friends on the team and stuff. So I'm really excited. She's really excited. So that'll be fun. And yeah, that's what I'm gonna be doing for like the next 4 months. It'll be great. It's really fun. And we got soccer for Owen. So Owen's 5, so he's doing like little kids soccer, and soccer is adorable. It's like 45 minutes once a week, and they just run. Like, we're like, Owen, go that way, and he's like, hey mom. I'm like, no, you gotta run. And he'll just like come over to the sidelines. Mom, can I have a snack? I'm like, no, you're in here, play your game. Oh my gosh, I love it. He's so little. Anyways, I got that to look forward to. I love watching the kids do their sports. Okay, so let's wrap up the square blanket. Maybe next episode, I'll have more than this. No, I may have this, and then in this, I'll have 8 squares that are finished. I'm hopeful though. It's fun. Okay, where am I in time? Oh, it's already been 30 minutes. I am chatty. It's the coffee. Oh, really? Okay. So I have one last thing that I pulled out of the archives. Not really. This is a pattern I published 2 years ago, but I figured with the weather like warming up and stuff, maybe, you know, we're kind of on the outs of super bulky things or like sweater knitting, but like how about like fingering weight shawls, the sock yarn. Like I designed this. This is the Ocean Horizon Shawl. And I apologize if I've shown you this already recently. But I just wanted to bring it out again. This is a fun one. I'm gonna start wearing it more too. Also, I love these colors. All right, can you see it? Ocean Horizon. It's a triangle weight shawl. You cast on at this. So it's like, I forget exactly, but you cast on like 3 stitches, and then every other row you increase 1, increase 1, and it's a slow. If you can see this, you know, there's so many shapes to triangle shawls, you can, or ways to construct them. This one's basic, I love it. So you're increasing 1 stitch every other row for more kind of a slow increase. But you see how this side over here on this side is straight. This side does not get increased, but this one over here. So it's kind of like, it's not like a right triangle. It's, okay, I hope my husband's not watching this. He teaches geometry and I can't remember the names of triangles. The triangle, that's not super even, that one. But this end does not get increased, so that it stays in the same position the entire time, and then this side keeps growing until you get to the big long end, and then this is where we bind off. So it's kind of cool that I love making these, because like the increase is not like, it's not complicated really. 1 stitch every other row, and it just kind of shapes itself, and I love it. But yeah, you start with 3 stitches, you end up with like 200. That's about 200. Let's see, maybe a little more. Scott, it's like closer to 300. I'm trying to estimate here. All right, so this uses 3 colors. I use Baah Yarn La Jolla, and this is a yarn that I have in stock in the shop, favoritesYarnstudio.com. And 3 colors, and it kind of just like changed. This was a shawl, and I don't normally do this because I'm too nervous, but I was winging it on the texture. Which also, this shawl, when I finished it, was very satisfying because I didn't like overthink, and like, I mean, I swatched a little bit, so I had a general idea that like later in the shawl, I want to do something with eyelets, and I really like, and then in the middle section, I just wanted to do a lot of garter stitch with, no, not garter, stockinette stitch, but with a all like scattered garter, like 1 row of garter. If that makes sense, I'll try to show you. So it's like, it's mostly stockinette, but then you alternate and throw in like an extra purl row on the flip side, or no, on the right side. So then you get these little like horizontal textured lines. So this kind of gives some dimension. And also you can't, and I have learned this the hard way, you can't make a shawl in garter and stockinette stitch because you have to at least have some hefty border on it or something cool, otherwise it'll curl. So by adding these little ridges of alternating, you know, which side the stitch is on, and then they kind of like pop in the foreground, it actually helps. I don't know what I'm doing with my hands. It helps the whole product lay flat when you're blocking, because yeah, if you're doing, because I think, I could be wrong, like the yarn then when you pull if you do straight stockinette stitch, the yarn is all pulling in one direction. You almost have to then counteract that and have it pulling on the flip side too, then the piece will lay flat. But if it's all going one direction, those edges curl real bad, and you can block it. And I've learned this the hard way, like years ago. And like sometimes like you can block it and be like, oh, it blocked out, but it's like you wear this for a couple weeks, it just curls again, and it's frustrating. It's frustrating. But I think that's actually why I liked this texture, because it really, the edges all laid flat after blocking. It was pretty flat before, but you know, blocking just kind of like fine tunes everything and makes it all nice and straight. So okay. Oh, so that's, go back to like the color changes, the texture changes. I first was doing that garter ridge in this solid color, and then I was alternating the color. This is still the same texture, but with 2 colors. See, I actually love how that turned out. I have the speckled pink mixed in with this cream, which is still, it's like cream and beige. It's really pretty. So you can see those like garter ridges. It actually has the 2 colors in it. So I thought that was a fun way to introduce the pink in with the beige. And then I was doing alternating. This is the part then I got to the end of this section and like, you know what? I just sitting and playing with stitches. I'm like, I don't know what I want to do next. It was super fun and it worked out. And I was like, as long as I keep that increase still going, like I can do whatever I want. And it worked. And then here is I dropped the pink because I was running out of yardage. So I'm like, all right, time to do the next color. And that was this cool, like dusty blue with like this little green flecks in here too. And then I used the remainder of the pink for a final like border on the end. So yeah, this is a super lightweight shawl called the Ocean Horizon Shawl. And it's about the length of my arms. So I like this one a lot. This is by Baah Yarn. I do want to mention that I do have kits. So it takes 3 skeins. And on the website, I have kits if you want to make the same colors. It's these 3. Here, La Jolla. So if you ever buy kits from me, they come in these little drawstring bags and I'll have 1 skein of each so you can make the exact same one. There's a bunch of La Jolla listed on the website, so if you want, like you can buy them a la carte if you want to mix and match your own colors, like by all means, go ahead. I do suggest that like you throw in like a neutral too and try to like do some sort of like contrast through the colors, like so you can see all those like the definition of the different design elements. But if you do purchase one of the kits, there's a link, you get the pattern for free. So just a little perk. And personally, I love these 3 colors together. They're like muted, pastel, but just enough contrast still to see. So yeah, that's the Ocean Horizon Shawl. And that's a lot of fun. When I wear it, I try to get that like first color to show up too when I wear it. There. I did not knock my AirPods out. Yay! All right, guys. Let's see. Look at my list. Just 3 things today. Quartz Beanie. That one's live. It's great. Like it's a quick, satisfying knit. Also, like you want to make them and just put some hats away for the fall. Also, I will keep giving you updates on that sock blanket project. I think it's really fun. It's like I'm kind of winging it as I go, which is fun for me, like just doing something completely different. And then this nice little sock weight shawl and remember, this is Baah Yarn La Jolla, and that is their fingering weight base. And I love it. It really has, like if you've worked with Baah Yarn before, like they dye like the most vibrant colors, and then their speckled yarns are just perfect. Like I have so many I like the speckled yarns, but they don't really do I like it on the lighter weight basis, but there's just so many teeny tiny pops of like high contrast color, like kind of mixed into the main color. Like it's so gorgeous. So I'm a huge fan of Baah Yarn. Okay. All right, guys, I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna make another cup of coffee. I'm gonna try for a bike ride. It's gonna be like in the mid 70s today. So I haven't had my bike out like at all this year. So I'm kind of excited. So we'll see. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll be back, a couple weeks with episode 14. All right, enjoy your week. Bye.